But
it's true.
People don't give, and there's actually a book on it, but most people don't give Mark Jackson the credit. He built the Golden State Warriors, not Steve Kerr. And I want to make this clear right now, on air. I do not believe Steve Kerr is the coach that he's cracked up to be. Everyone says, when he retires, even though it's only been 3 years, Hall of Fame coach. Not in the slightest.
So if he goes anywhere else, he's not Steve Kerr.
He goes anywhere else. He's NBA champion Steve Kerr.
Give him nothing.
5-time NBA champion Steve Kerr.
Build it up and see how good of a coach.
Yes, I want to see Steve Kerr build up this team.
If he can do that, then you could say, okay, now he's just one of the best coaches out there.
This is not Mark Jackson brought in Steph Curry. Mark Jackson, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green.
The only knock on
Festus Ezeli, Mark Jackson.
The only knock on Mark Jackson that a lot of NBA fans, rag on him about is when they had Draymond Green and David Lee at the time, Mark Jackson played David Lee a lot more than Draymond Green.
That's because at the time, David Lee actually did deserve it.
I know.
Because Draymond Green was not ready.
And also, Draymond Green was really a small forward at the time as well. Steve Kerr,
I know. Yeah.
That's the main adjustment that Steve Kerr did. He let Steph Curry pull up from wherever he wanted, and he made Draymond Green.
Which, by the way, is ruining basketball for little kids. I just got to mention that. The fact that I see it all the time, kids are pulling up from wherever, and when I was in high school, kids would try and shoot.
Trae Young.
But
good example.
I played. I didn't even play in.
Curry doing it,
I didn't even play in public league. I played in a private league. With my high school, we're all a bunch of non-athletic. Most of us were non-athletic Jewish kids, and there are still some kids that are pulling up from essentially college range. And in high school, the courts are smaller, the lines are smaller, and kids are pulling up from college range. Now I see kids in elementary school trying to pull up from Steph range, and I'm like, you don't have the strength, the power, anything to pull up from that range. You literally have kids all the time pulling up, heaving half-court shots, thinking it's going in. I don't even know look anymore. I know it's going in. This is ruining basketball, in my opinion. But Steve Kerr is not this insane, awesome coach. Greg Popovich is a coach that has built a successful dynasty.
That's still going on.
It's about to,
for the most part.
He's got to rebuild it, but
no. Unfortunately, it's about to die. Manu is
if I'm
Manu is playing
coach to do it. I feel like he can rebuild it.
At 40 years old, Manu is still playing really well, but he is probably going to retire after this year. Tony Parker is a free agent after next year. Rumor is that when he's done with his contract, if he's still willing to play, he's going to go back home and potentially play. Kind of pull like a basketball version of Pavel Datsuk. And it's this Spurs dynasty is very, 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 very close to coming to an end. But Greg Popovich, you give him nothing, he'll build something. With Steve Kerr, you give him nothing, he'll be out of a job in 2 years.
Well, we also don't know yet. That's why I feel like if Steve Kerr, you gotta wait. Let him coach the Golden State Warriors for years from now. 20 years from now, when Steph Curry's gone, KD's gone, Klay Thompson's gone, see what he can do with a brand new bunch of players and see if he can rebuild them. No, that'll ruin them.
Well, we'll find out.
Well, before we go on to baseball, I just want to quickly mention Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday absolutely dismantled, and I say that in the most nice way possible. They dismantled the Blazers.
What a
Shout
joke
out to
of a
playoff
series.
Rondo.
Shout out to playoff Rondo. They dismantled the Blazers. Now the Blazers, they really, really need some help.
And now I really believe him when he said that if I didn't get hurt last season, we would have swept the Celtics. And I believe him now. Because if you swept the Portland Trail Blazers, you definitely would have swept the Celtics last year.
They really needed help. Anthony Davis is... Damian Lillard really needed help. CJ McCollum was doing it pretty decent. People are saying they should trade CJ McCollum. I think that's a little early. Damian Lillard then came out and said, why would we ever do that? But when you look at the 2016 free agent class of the Blazers, it is an atrocious class. Festus Ezeli, who I just mentioned with the Warriors, was great with them for almost dirt cheap. 2 years, $16 million. He's barely played for them. Mo Harkless, 4 years, $40 million. Myers Leonard, 4 years, $41 million. Evan Turner,
75, right?
4 years, $70 million. Alan Crabb, the poison pill contract from the Brooklyn Nets, who ended up being on the Brooklyn Nets a year later. 4 years, $75 million. CJ McCollum, 4 years, $106 million. They gave 4-year contracts to 5 guys. 3 of them over $70 million. That's nuts. Only one of these people on the contract, one of them is not even on the team anymore at all. Alan Crabb. One of them is still productive. Evan Turner, every single day, looks worse and worse with that contract. Myers Leonard just sits on the bench and plays with his man bun. No pun intended, Eric. No pun intended.
I know. It's just funny how you said it.
But it's an embarrassment. And rumors are Terry Stotts is about to be fired for this horrible, horrible play that's going on with this Blazers organization. And it's a shame because the Brooklyn Nets gave up so much for Damian Lillard to be traded away and go to the Blazers. And you see Dame is such a good player. Such a good player. And is being wasted. CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard being totally wasted in Portland.
That would be the perfect revenge story.
What?
If Mark Jackson would coach the Portland Trailblazers and end up like building a team to beat the Warriors. I would love that.
Well, that's not going to happen.
But I'm just saying that would be a great
Mark
story.
Jackson would be a fool to take any other job besides the Knicks.
Why?
Now he's just
Roster. I'm saying roster-wise.
It doesn't matter. Mark Jackson is it's a match that's been set. Like if he were to go anywhere else, I feel like Knicks fans might actually hate him.
This is a match that should have happened probably 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
I wouldn't say 4 years ago.
3 years ago, then.
Yeah, he should have
After
been hired.
Derek Fisher.
He should have been hired before Hornacek instead of Hornacek.
Instead of D'Antoni.
Instead of D'Antoni. Whew.
A long time.
That's a hot take. Pushing over to baseball very quickly. Chris Bryant exits yesterday's game after taking a very scary hit to the head. Ball thrown straight at his head. And it did not look well. If you saw the video, his helmet literally went 360 around his head.
Are you talking about Chris Bryant?
Yeah,
that was an awful hit.
I'm not a big Joe Madden fan, but give it to Joe Madden for getting out there first. He beat everybody else out there.
No, because Joe Madden cares about his players.
No, I get that. I'm not a huge Joe Madden fan for mostly his antics, but it's just not me.
I like Joe Madden.
I don't know. It's just not me. I'm just not a big fan of his. But for some reason, as soon as I saw that and just holding up his player, I was like, if I ever made it to the major leagues, that's the guy I want to have in my back.
Oh, yeah. Now, before we move on, because we do have a caller online, before we move to the caller, I just want to mention 2 things. One, yesterday's lineup for the New York Yankees, first entirely under 30s lineup for the New York Yankees since September 29th, 1989. It's been a long time since the Yankees relied solely
weren't good teams.
Solely on their youth. And Sean Manaea throws the first no-hitter of the 2018 season, and it was against the red hot Red Sox.
This is it.
Baseball is funny.
Like,
sometimes.
what is going on?
That's true. Cameron just said it perfect. Baseball's funny. Baseball's so funny.
Sean Manaea, a guy who no one knows about,
he's a good pitcher.
Yeah, he's a good pitcher, but no one knows about him. And all of a sudden, there was a no-hitter, the first of 2018.
Against one of the best offensive...
The 17-2, 17-3 Boston Red Sox.
Then they lost the game after, and their offense is going down the tubes, and the Yankees are going up high now.
Well, the Yankees are...
but this is it.
I went to that game last Tuesday. Last Monday, the Yankees destroyed the Marlins. Last Tuesday, the Yankees got destroyed by the Marlins.
Yeah, weren't you there?
Bad.
Yes, the game they got destroyed.
It's
your fault.
Absolutely bad game. It was freezing cold. My beer was way too expensive. The seats were although I did move down. It flurried before the game. Tanaka pitched horrible.
The defense didn't help him.
Now, the only thing to take me out of my bad mood right now is the person who's on the line. Eric, who's on the phone right now?
Take a wild guess.
It's either Dave or Dom.
Take a wild guess.
Dave, who are the Giants picking?
That's easy. Well, that would depend on the 12th and 22nd picks of the first round.
Really?
Oh, sorry. Cleveland's taking Dono. Giants are waiting for either Miami or Buffalo. Buffalo loves Rosen. Miami, the other way around, likes Allen. And Miami likes Rosen.
Miami likes Baker Mayfield.
What if they stand pat at 2?
There's no reason to. The NFC is just a superior. The Giants are not going to make any inroads into the NFC, but at least 2-3 years.
Wow. Okay. See, now you fall into the category of they were 3-13 for a reason, right?
Right. Right, exactly. And the other teams that look, your Super Bowl champions are reloaded. And after that, the Jets will take who they want to take, and then Cleveland will be trading the number 4 pick to whichever team, whichever GM is desperate enough to need a quarterback, and who's ever left is going to go to that team.
Well, Buffalo came out and said that they're not interested in trading up to number 2 because they feel they can get a cheaper value of the 4 to 6 range.
Oh, they can. Especially at 6.
Yeah.
The Indianapolis Colts have already traded down from 3 to 6. They're kind of content with what they've gotten. They can essentially trade down again and say, yeah, we don't really even need as much anymore. Or they can flip the script and say, hey, this is what we got from going from 3 to 6, but you really want your franchise quarterback now.
And it's a bigger jump.
And 3 of the quarterbacks are already gone. And yeah, this is a bigger jump. So we're not just going to take your this year and three twos.
And if they trade down, that means Andrew Luck is healthy.
Oh, no.
No, because you really haven't seen much yet.
If the Colts keep trading down, if the Colts trade out of 6,
that means he's ready.
It means Andrew Luck is in pristine condition. T.Y. Hilton loves what's going on here. Yeah. And
you're forgetting
Josh
something.
McDaniels is a complete idiot.
You're forgetting something. What? Assets are a wonderful thing.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm saying if they trade down out of 6, Josh McDaniels is an idiot because we
already knew that.
This is potentially the only reason why he was scared off from this franchise because of Andrew Luck and his health. If they trade down out of 6, it means Andrew Luck is good. We're going to get assets for the future to build around him and continue building around him. We're happy with what's going on.
Andrew Luck was a Mercedes that got totaled, and all they did was redo the outside. He's not a well person. He's going to get hurt again. All NFL quarterbacks should expect to get hurt at least once or twice a year, and he's just not in very good condition.
Tell that to Eli Manning.
He knows how to duck.
That's all he knows how to do.
Yeah, I know. He run backwards and duck. I applaud him, by the way. I really do. And I'll let you go with the Yankees as an long-time guy. These new guys are killing me. I don't know their numbers. I need stability in my life. I need to look at the same number 8 years and match up the face. Left-handed, right-handed position.
Well, look, you could take...
No, I can't tell these guys. I actually have to pay attention. I sit there with no sound on.
Here's the bright side. Here's the bright side.
Now I got to put the sound on.
Gleyber Torres... You know his number already. Just think of Gleyber Torres as Jason Giambi, Mark Teixeira, or Robinson Cano. That's it.
That's an odd number for a small second baseman.
You had Mark Teixeira yesterday publicly state. He's like, I really hope Gleyber Torres is amazing. Everyone buys his jersey. So in 5 years, 10 years, I can see them on the street, and someone's going to be like, hey, you're wearing Mark Teixeira's jersey. No, I'm not.
It's Gleyber Torres.
The only jersey he ever bought, and the guy's not even on the earth anymore, was Brad Van Pelt.
Why?
Ooh.
What for? What is it? A fashion statement? Well, I am a little overweight, so maybe I had to forego the Hawaiian shirts. Maybe you're a good idea. I'm a little heavy now.
Oh God.
Have a nice night.
Have a good night, Dave.
I need 2 hours out of you.
I need 3 hours. All right, tell Sean. That was Dave calling from Franklin Square. We have literally 3 seconds to go. I just want to mention Derek Jeter called a reporter mentally weak for asking if the Marlins were tanking. What is wrong with you in this entire world? Sam Darnold to the Jets 2020. I'll see you all next week with a brand new set of roster, who's going to be there and everything. Stay tuned for Revelations. We'll be here next week.
Enjoy
Goodbye.
the draft.